What's up, people? I am back. So my plan is I'm gonna review the Extraction 2, but I saw the Meg 2 earlier today, so I will talk about that tomorrow. But I guess before I get into Extraction, I can talk about the Meg for a little bit. Man, the Meg was basically everything I wanted. I knew going in the people were like talking about like weak script, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting the greatest script in the world. I was just expecting cool shark movie. Um, that's all it needed to be. Cool shark movie. Some creature moments. I actually really like the team with Jason Statham. I actually really think they're like the best part of the fucking movie for me. They were their chemistry was good. It was just it gave me like Deep Blue Sea. I love the little references to Jaws too. It like and yeah, I think the first one is probably a better film, and I'm gonna rewatch that next week so I can review it. So I'll probably review that next Thursday, most likely. But yeah, I really, really like this one for what it was. I mean, so I'm at an 8 subjectively. If I'm being more objective, probably a 7.5. But it's a fun little flick. I definitely recommend it if you like shark movies. If you like the first one, you'll like this one. So I'm gonna review that one tomorrow. But today I'm gonna review Extraction 2, and holy shit, man! I mean, I love the first Extraction, and I only saw this just because I saw it was out. Everyone was saying it was great, and bro, it is probably it's my number third favorite movie in my ranking. But if we're being like in terms of best directed action, this might be the number one. The one shot, and it was like almost the whole movie. I've not seen a movie where they did almost a one shot the entire film. The big action scenes, and not just a one shot. You feel like you're part of the action. You're like the scenes when you're in a car. You're actually following them in the car. Then you're getting out of the car, and then you're following the bad guys for a second. It is insane. Watching this on like a TV, this should have been in theaters. I think I can only imagine if you had this movie being in theaters. It was holy shit. That prison scene, that whole prison sequence. It's you know how people like when Martin Scorsese called Marvel movies or write us a negative. In that context, I agree. But if we're gonna be using it in a positive, this is a ride, but like in a good way. You're with them in the action. You're not just watching an action movie. You're actually with them on the action. When Tyler climbs, because there's a train sequence, climbs on the train, with a minigun, shoots down the helicopter. You see it go down, and then like when the snow like pops up, it's like holy shit, like you're part of it. It's insanity. Like it's crazy how much they leveled up and stepped up from the first one. The first one's already a step up anyway, and it's like they really did. And the way they build Tyler Rake's character and more of the story a little bit too, it's like it's a perfect sequel. In my opinion, in terms of a film, it's better than the first. I really love this one. There's an annoying element with this kid, Sandro, because the story is, this is after what happened in the first one, where Tyler is called back to do a mission because his ex-wife has to save his sister, who's locked in a prison with her husband and her son, and that's where Sandro, and they're being chased by her husband's brother. So basically he has to save them and try to extract them, and that's basically, it's a bigger scale version of the first one. They have a good bad guy in as the main villain. Trying to find his name. David. I thought he was great as the villain. And yeah, it relatively just holds up. To me, it's one of the best. I recommend watching this one, but I even say you can watch this one on its own. I say watch the first one still though, but because the first one in a way sets up this one with the way they did the action, because the action was so great in the first one, and it's like times 20 what they did in this. It's insane how much they did. And yeah, the final fight at the warehouse, you have good Nick and his relationship is great. I fucking love this movie. It's a fun little movie, so very much love it. Out of 10, this is almost a 10, 9.5 out of 10. Almost up there with John Wick for me. This was good. This was fucking badass. And if I was Chris Hemsworth, keep doing these movies. I'm going to say it again. He needs to just keep doing this shit. No more of these jokey, goofy characters anymore. You know, Thor's already ruined. Just do this. They pretty much left it open for, obviously, because the way it ends, you know, he gets sent into prison after what happens, but then he gets broken out, and they break Nick out, and they basically set up, oh, you have another job, and so they basically set up a third one. Just do an Extraction 3. Have it come out. I mean, because the strike maybe won't come out for a little bit, but you know, that's what he should do, because this movie was just such a fucking amazing. This should have been in theaters. I'm sorry, like the cinematography when you even there's a scene where Tyler's talking to Sandra on the roof, like in some like not apartment, yeah, like a hotel, and they have like this nice drone, clearly like a drone shot, but it was shot well, and it's like and it's just a talking scene, so it's like they put little detail in talking scenes. And not even just like the action. But yeah, the action is... And they do definitely step up the violence a little bit. I mean, there's a scene where the main villain stabs a guy in the neck with a fucking pitchfork. So, it's fucking great. So, yeah, there's some brutal... Or probably the most brutal scene where... This is the prison scene. Like I said, the prison scene is great. He hits one of the prisoners when this is on his way out. He grabs a fucking weight and smashes it in his face. And you see, like, blood in his, like, face all smashed. It's like, bro. They step it up. Like, it was, like, one of those movies I was, like, saying, holy shit, and bro, a lot. Like, it really is a thrill ride. So, if they had... This is one of those... I can only imagine this is theater, so yeah. So tomorrow, Meg 2 review, so that'll be fun. Monday, I'm gonna actually probably tomorrow try to put together my 1997 list. I pretty much have like my first 4 put together, but I just gotta look for some more. So I'll be doing that tomorrow, and then doing that list on Monday. I guess really quick before I start the review, going into the story. I guess I could announce what I got going on. So, tomorrow, Meg 2. Monday, 97. Listen, I don't have a number yet. How much movies there will be. Tuesday will be Casino Royale. Wednesday will be, I'm thinking of either doing, like, Running Man or Total Recall. Like, doing another old Arnold movie. Or Bloodsport. It'll be between those 3. Then Thursday will be I'm either gonna... I kind of want to talk about... Because they're doing a Scream 7, and I kind of want to do a video on that. But I'll figure something out for Thursday. But then Friday will be Spider-Man. Because I've been wanting to do... I'm going to do the Raimi films. I've been kind of wanting to do them for a while, so I figure now that my Fridays are a bit free, I don't have anything else to review. We're done with Candyman and all that, so I'll do that. But anyway, let's get started on Extraction 2. So the movie opens up, basically starts right from where the first one ends. Him getting shot, falling into the river, and then he gets picked up by this tribe, gets healed, he gets taken to the hospital. 9-month recovery. So he's in a wheelchair for a bit, and he now lives in the woods. This is where he gets recruited by Idris Elba. I fucking love him in this movie, even though he's like basically only in it for like a couple scenes. I fucking love him in this movie. So he approaches him about a job. He has to get his ex-wife's sister out of Georgia, because she's married to David DeVito, who's one of the co-founders of the Nagazi. They're like a big crime syndicate. And this is where we get that opening scene with trying to find the bad guy's name. Zurab, that's his main name. Zurab is the main bad guy. That scene where you see him stab a dude with a pitchfork. It is fucking brutal. Like, they don't hold back on the violence in this. I mean, the violence is pretty, like, it wasn't as bloody in some crazy kills like there is in this one. Like, the first one was a bit more standard gunshots and stuff, but this one, besides like the scene where you did see a kid get killed, or they threw a kid off the building, but like this one is a bit more like visually, like, bro. So they hire him. So he takes the job. He calls Nick. I love his relationship with her. You know, they building it, and you know they've known each other a lot because she was in the last film. So then you see the mom. This is where we meet the mom, or the sister character. Well, I thought she was fun. You know, she was a decent character. It sucks, you know, her arc, but she was well written. So you see the conditions she's forced to stay in this prison. It's because her husband David is in hiding. So this is where you get like a Rocky montage, kind of Rocky 4, where fucking Tyler's training in the snow and all this shit. So that was a cool little scene. And then, yeah, he goes to do the mission. Like, that's the thing about I do like about these movies. They get right into it. Like, they don't, like, have you wait. They're like, no, okay, training montage, nope, done. Now we're on the mission. So he goes, because he kind of pays off one of the guys working in the prison to help let him in. So he gets in, finds, I'm actually going to find, I think Mia is her name, the mom. Yeah, yeah, Mia is the main sister, so Kevin Tan is her name. That's the mom. I'm just going to say sister character. The sister character and her kid and Sandra, who I'll admit, he was annoying. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. So they get him out. Unfortunately, you know, because the little girl has like a doll and it drops and it makes noise. But the prisoners, man, I really love like the camera work. Like it would go from like you were in the prison, then now we're going outside. You're following them, and then yeah, the prisoners try to attack, and then we get like a cool little fight scene. And then he like plants like a fucking little, not a bomb, but like I guess I'll say somewhat a bomb, like concussion little thing that basically like took out a couple people. Then they try to get out. Then we get a fight between Tyler and David. He tries to. This fight was intense, man. And one thing I do like, I like John Wick because, like, it is a bit stylized, but it is still realistic. I like that they still have that kind of aspect in this too, where it is realistic, but it is like sloppy looking too. Like, it's not like the most clean looking fights. Don't get me wrong. I like clean looking fights from time to time, but I do like when movies. It does feel a bit more realistic when it's not like the most, because if we're gonna be real life, people do not fight like in movies where it's this like stylized thing. No, it's very kind of raw, and I do like the fights in that they are like that. Even like the main fight between Zurab and Tyler later in the film, it's like they don't make it like this stylized over the, like, no, it's raw. It actually looks fucking painful, and I'll get into that later. But even this fight, like, Tyler grabs Davina and he slams him in this like hot like kind of pressure thing, ends up killing David, um, along with his wife. She hits him with like a, so he gets his hands like split, and you see it split, and then he gets stabbed in the neck by Tyler, and then the mob like hits him in the face with like I think a shovel, and then yeah, so they get out, then they start fighting the prisoners, and then even like the prison guards, like it was like a fuck. That whole scene was just bro. I'm like, how the fuck did you film that? Like, and then like the different like stabbing people, shooting. He didn't want to shoot people, but he had to. And then yeah, like because he was protecting me, the sister too, Kevin Tan, that's her name. So protecting Kevin Tan, and then yeah, so because he has like a cauliflower ear, so he has like hearing problems a little bit. So like there's a scene where he gets hit with like a brick, and then you hear the ringing. Like I really like that because you felt it. Like it's not like you really feel like you're part of the movie. This is one of those where you actually feel like you're part of the fucking movie and you're following the action. You're not just watching it. So, but then yeah, Tyler recovers and they throw a fucking Molotov and his hand's on fire, but he's still beating the shit out of people. It's fucking crazy. And yeah, beats the shit out of a dude, then saves Kevin Tan with this is where we get the weight, that scene I was talking about with the weight. Hits him in the face, and his face just like basically gets destroyed. You see like blood coming out of his eye. Like it was fucked. I'm like, bro, watching that, I had to rewind it. I'm like, holy shit. So Nick helps him break out along with her brother. Then they get in the car, and then we get like a chase scene in the car. It's like, oh my god, like this movie does just keep going. I'm like, holy shit. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, there's really no break scenes. Like, at least the first one, there are like break scenes, like kind of like there is action in the first one, but it's not like this. Where this one is very just continuous because it's like next like crazy scene because now yeah we get a chase scene, then yeah we get people on bikes, and then yeah they die on mines, then they manage to make it out. So then yeah we get a scene where they have to forced to get on a train and they're being pinned down. And I really like that they're forced to be pinned down. Like they're not just like getting through this action scene like just 100%. Like no, they're getting pinned down. You even unfortunately the little girl even gets hit with a bullet. Like it's realistic in that sense. Like so yeah they get on the train and then they send people in a helicopter. Tyler destroys one. And then like yeah, like that scene was crazy. And then they send another one. Then yeah, you see him when he falls back into the in the train. You actually get back into the train. Like the cinematography is like something else. Like I'm just even just doing this review. It's like so much going on. And then yeah, there's a scene where Nick has her own little moment of taking some guys out, and it's believable. Like she's struggling. They're taking it to her, and she because they're like really heavily armored too. And they're just like that's the thing I do like about this movie. It's realistic. Oh yeah, but apparently we hate women. No, it's like well written women who are trained. Even as trained, she struggles in that fight. But then yeah, when she does get it, it's like okay, and it's believable. Like it wasn't like she just fucking Mary Suter. Like she was a badass character, but she had to work for it. That's well, even Tyler has to work for it at times. He doesn't just beast through everybody. Because even like I said in that prison fight, he was struggling a little bit because he had that injury. So Tyler takes out some guys, and then yeah, so they regroup because the train has no stop, so the train ends up crashing. So then they end up trying to get to a helicopter, and this is where Sandra learns. This is where he starts getting on my fucking nerves because he kept whining about his fucking bitch ass dad, and it was like. I can understand that a little bit, but then it was to a point where it was a little bit annoying. It got in the way, and I'll just spoil. But he ends up calling Zerb is his uncle. He ends up calling Zerb, because I want to see my family and like type shit. And it was so cringe. It was personally, I would have written him out of the movie. I think you could have just had it be Kevin Tan and the daughter. You didn't really need him in the movie. He got in the way. That'd be my one change. But aside from that, still great. So they managed to get to safe house, where things seem fine, and Kevin, Sandro, kind of, I guess at this point, somewhat starts kind of understanding what happened. And him and Tyler start kind of interacting, but unfortunately, on the plane all the way there, Sandro calls the Heaven Syrup, who puts together like a squad of people to go get them. Like, I guess this is like probably the one moment I'd say the movie kind of not slows down, but like is a little pause. But then nope, immediately Zerb's people start arriving. Then we get another big action sequence where they have to try to escape from Zerb's people. It's a really it's this movie just fucking goes, man. And like, I love the little fight scene in the parking lot. Each character gets their own moment of taking a bunch of guys out. Nick, her brother. Zerb ends up convincing Sandro to come with him. So he gets put in the car. We get a kind of a big conversation between Zerb and Tyler on the roof of the safe house. This is where, before that, we get like Tyler biting a bunch of dudes in the weight room, and he ends up killing one dude with the main weight on the sliding weight, and it like hits him on the head. It's like, holy shit. They don't hold back on the violence. Like, they're really going 100% on the violence, man, and I fucking love it. So, Zerb, they manage to escape. Unfortunately, Zerb shoots Nick's brother, and he ends up dying. And then he then calls Zerb to act like he was proposing a trade, but for real, he's just going there to get him. And then this is where we get a big... before that, Mia shows up, and we have a kind of a solid scene with them where he talks about like why he left, and because he talks about he couldn't save his son. Like, it was such a well done scene. Like, I really think why I love these movies too, because Chris Hemsworth, I actually think, is a good actor. I just don't think he really gets to show it, because he's forced his play for a while. He was just doing these goofy characters, not just with Thor, what they ended up doing with him. Shitbusters, fucking that shitty new Men in Black. He was forced to just be these goofy characters. In this, he's actually let him act. Like, that scene where he's talking about his son that was acting. I'm like, okay, he can act. It's just he doesn't get to show it, because when you're forced to just be, I don't know if it's forced, because for a while he was just doing it. And unfortunately, like with Thor, he doesn't, like, those first few, he did kind of get to show his acting a little bit. But then just these last few, he just been forced to be a goof. So to actually see him just be a badass, and not just be a badass, but actually let him showcase his acting too. Like, when he's talking about his son, that was fucking, you believed it. So he ends up going to confront. That's why he was very much, he has to protect Sandro and Kevin Tan, because it was like almost like trying to redeem himself for what happened with his son, who ended up dying because of cancer, and he wasn't there. So it's such a good little story. It's frustrating that, like, for a while, like, it's like, I can, like, now actually, if I was in this, why I'm saying he needs to stay with these movies, build on this character. So he confronts Zerb, starts taking his people out, like, blows up all his fucking like heliplanes, his escape vehicle, and all this shit, and fucking confronts. Initially, he threatens to kill Sandra. I'm like, do it, personally, at this point. But Nick shows up as a distraction. Then we get a fight scene between Zerb and Tyler. And oh my god, this fight scene was like painful. They were using nails, like, because it was like a warehouse they were fighting in. So there was like a bunch of like just tools lying around. Tyler used nails. There's a scene where not Sandra, Zerb, like stabs him in the arm, like just cuts his arm, like slicing his arms with like a saw thing. It was like, bro, like it was very gritty. It was very like believable. That's how it would go. There's like all this shit lying around, and it was painful. Like there's even a scene where Zerb just hits Tyler with like a fucking box of nails. There's like just because he was just right there. It was like that is like so raw and just down. Like, that's what I like, fights like that, you know. So other than that, so pretty much after this, Zerb ends up basically getting killed, fucking pretty brutally. Fucking Tyler like stabs him in the legs multiple times, and then stabs him in the arm, and then Zerb like he kind of lays there for a second after, and then Zerb says something, and Tyler just shoots him in the fucking head, and then is holding Nick in his arms, who was injured because she got shot. Police show up. He's in jail. You have a little moment between him and Mia. Then he gets broken out, and then he gets offered by that same stranger who offered him the job, Idris Elba, earlier. Basically offers him another job, along with Nick being freed. So basically a nice little setup for a third film. I'm very much for it. If you can just do that, like if you can somehow step up, because that's what I feel like this was of the first one. It's crazy how much like the directing and just the action, and you were part of it. Like I have not seen an action movie like The Raid was kind of like that too, where you were just part of the action. It wasn't like just an action movie. So I very much recommend this movie. It's on Netflix. It's not just some dumb action movie. It's actually really good. Like, just even on like a directing, I just think it should just be seen because of that, and the action, and just all. It should just be seen because of that. That's my only thing with that. So, I really think. I mean, all I can really say is incredible, and that's probably what I'm just gonna title the review: incredible, because that's what this film was. It was the action, the storytelling. I think Chris Hemsworth's performance. I thought Zerb was a decent bad guy of the film. The, that's all I can really say. Like it was a thrill ride. Like it was like when you feel like you're part of the action. You're not just watching it. Like don't get me wrong, I'm fine with action movies where you're just watching action. That's cool. But when you're like part of the action, you're in, like when you're in the car with them, and then it goes outside of the car. It's like, bro, the fucking natural transitions of this movie is fucking crazy. I was astounded. Like that first time I watched it, I've watched it a couple times since. It is like, holy shit, this movie. So anyway, 9.5 out of 10, borderline a 10. This is how you do action movies. I wish this was in theaters. If I was Netflix, I'd try to figure out a way to get Extraction 3 in theaters. If they do one. Because this needs to be seen in theaters. I just think the action of that kind of scale, I can only imagine. You saw that in theaters. That whole prison sequence, even like the fucking chase sequence alone. The armored train sequence, I can only imagine that in the theater. Like, dude, that would have been like something else. Yeah. So anyway, guys, 9.5 out of 10. Definitely recommend it. Meg 2 review. I'm definitely happy that it was basically everything. When I heard everybody was saying it was just dumb fun, I kind of figured that's what it was going to be. I wasn't expecting anything crazy, and that's what I got. Some cool creature stuff. Probably one of the more decent shark movies I've actually seen in a while, at least since the first Meg. Jason Statham's great. Have good human characters. Kind of gave me like there are other shark movies that does feel like they're like because they have a contained megalodon, so it has a little bit of Deep Blue Sea but with a megalodon, but it works, and they call back to Jaws 2, which was awesome. Um, and like I think they basically even reference Jaws too. Is that's how cool it is, and the shark looks cool. And I actually think like CGI wise, it looks decent. The plot isn't the most amazing thing, and there's one element in the movie I would have cut out, but I'll talk about that more tomorrow. But aside from that, I think it was fun and it's everything I needed. I'd definitely watch it again. I'd watch it like Meg 1 and 2 back to back. So anyway, guys, take one more hit and talk to y'all tomorrow. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later.